Welcome to our channel. Here the darkest stories don't stay hidden forever. This is When Darkness Falls. It was a warm summer night in 2015 when Stephen Smith's body was found in the middle of a rural South Carolina road. His head bloodied, shoes still on, and his story shrouded in mystery. Authorities called it a hit and run, but from day one, the evidence never quite fit. Answers in a small town, silence seemed safer than the truth. Stephen Smith was very smart, soft-spoken, just 19 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. So, who was Stephen Smith? He was a son, a twin. He and his sister, Stephanie, were born prematurely, just at 27 weeks. From the very beginning, Stephen was a fighter. Fragile, yes, but fierce. And that bond with his sister, it had ran deep. They grew up side by side, navigating life together in a small South Carolina town, where being different wasn't always easy, but Stephen never let it stop him. He had big dreams, a big heart, and a light that would even years later still hasn't dimmed in the eyes of those who loved him the most. Stephen was a kind person who lit up the room without even trying. He was smart, really smart, straight-A student with dreams of becoming a doctor. He was studying nursing, determined to carve out a better future, not just for himself, but for the people that he loved. He wanted to be a doctor. That was the dream. But dreams come at a cost. All for Stephen, the dreams came with a big price tag. Just couldn't afford it. So he adjusted and he pivoted. He enrolled in nursing school instead, still chasing a life of purpose, of healing and helping. But because when the world made it harder, Stephen still chose to care, because that's who Stephen was. He wasn't just a son, a student, or a twin. He was also openly gay. And in a small, conservative southern town like Hampton County, that wasn't easy. But Stephen didn't hide who he was. He lived his truth, even when it made him a target. And even when it meant walking in hallways with all the whispers that followed. He was brave, and in a way that most people can't understand. Because Stephen knew that being himself came with risk, but he did it anyway. And what kind of courage? That's rare. So when his life was cut short, people couldn't help but ask, was it really a tragic accident? Or Stephen targeted for being exactly who he was? He was kind, and he had a rare ability to make people feel seen, and even if it didn't always feel that way himself. Stephen Smith had plans. He had purpose. He had very reason to believe that his life was just getting started. But one summer night in 2015, everything changed. On July 8, 2015, Stephen Smith was found dead in the middle of a dark, rural road in Hampton County. His body was laying in the middle of the Sandy Run Road. His car abandoned 3 miles away, gas cap hanging off like it had been interrupted and mid-move. There were no skid marks, no debris, no broken glass, no sign of a collision. Yet somehow, the officials' cause of death, they said it was hit and run, but from day one, that never added up. Stephen had a head wound, but no other injuries consisted of being struck by a vehicle. No shattered limbs, no road rash, no torn clothing, just a single fatal blow to the head. It was as if someone had placed him there, as if someone wanted it to look like an accident. And for years, that's exactly how it stayed, with more questions than answers. But the truth? It was never buried. Not really. Because a loving mother and a twin sister. Others kept asking, kept pushing, and eventually the silence cracked. Almost immediately, the ruling didn't sit right with friends and families, or honestly, anyone paying attention. And it wouldn't be long before the whispers started. Whispers about a powerful local family. The last name that seemed to come up a lot around here was Murdaugh. Yeah, Murdaugh. At the time, no one dug deep, but all that changed in 2021 when Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were found murdered on their massive Moselle estate. And as investigators peeled back layers of corruption, lies, and cover-ups, if you hadn't seen that video of Murdaugh murders, I would suggest you go ahead and watch it. But circling back to Stephen, uncovering new evidence during their probe into this now infamous Murdaugh double murders, SLED uncovered something big enough to reopen Stephen's case. And just like that, what was once labeled a tragic hit and run was now being investigated as a homicide. New eyes, new evidence, a second chance at justice. The Murdaugh name, already under fire, was mentioned once again. And the timing, well, let's say it was hard to ignore. Because while Alex Murdaugh was being exposed for the monster he truly was, and the light started shining back on a different victim, one who had been forgotten for far too long. In March 2023, just weeks after Alex was sentenced to life in prison, SLED confirmed it. Stephen's death was not just an accident. His body was exhumed for the second autopsy. A fresh look, fresh voice, and just maybe some long overdue truth. But even back in 2015, during the original investigation into Stephen's death, the Murdaugh's name kept coming up over and over. Rumors, whispers, tips, all pointed to the same direction, yet somehow nothing ever stuck. No charges, no real answers, just silence. The silence started to crack in March 2023. The same month Alex was convicted, what many had suspected for years. They are now treating Stephen's death a homicide. And in April, the autopsy was completed, marking a major step toward finally getting the truth about what really happened to Stephen. And just like that, his case was reopened. And this time, it was no longer being treated like a tragic accident.
This morning, the body of Stephen Smith exhumed from its grave nearly 8 years after the teen's mysterious death, officials completing an autopsy after investigators changed course, ruling his death a homicide. Smith's mother, Sandy, posting this photo showing Stephen's body has already been returned, writing, "My baby is back in his final resting place." Sandy, hopeful for answers.
I was always fighting that this was a homicide and not a vehicle versus pedestrian. He didn't deserve to die this way. And I know somebody did it, and whoever did it needs to come forward and bring peace to this family.
In 2015, Smith, a former classmate of Alec Murdaugh's surviving son Buster, was found dead in the middle of the road. At the time, his death was ruled a hit and run. But in 2021, the case was reopened by state law enforcement during the Murdaugh murder investigation, saying they discovered new evidence while looking into the deaths of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. First responder Tommy Moore telling our ABC affiliate WCIV that when he found Stephen's body, he didn't think the 19-year-old was hit by a car.
There's two things that come to my mind. Either he was murdered there or he was murdered elsewhere and dropped.
In 2023, Stephen's death was officially ruled a homicide. As evidence emerged, the original hit-and-run theory began to crumble. The injuries, not consistent with a car crash. No broken bones, no road rash, and blunt force trauma to the head. And then the rumors resurfaced. Then there's Buster, Alec only surviving son. Stephen had gone to school with Buster. Others believed that connection may have cost Stephen his life. Over the years, rumors had swirled around Buster and his alleged connection to Stephen's death. The two were classmates, and some even claimed that they were very close, maybe too close for a small southern town like Hampton County. And in the wake of Stephen's death, Buster's name kept popping up in tips, in whispers, and in the local gossip. Still, the speculation didn't stop, especially once the Murdaugh family's dark legacy exploded into the national spotlight. But as the case gained traction, so did the rumors. The name kept coming up again and again and was Buster's. Tips came in, whispers circulated, but legally, nothing would ever stick. And even in 2024, Buster Murdaugh had enough. He had filed lawsuits, defamation claims against Netflix, Warner Brothers, and other media outlets, accusing them of falsely portraying him as being involved in Stephen's death, calling the rumors vicious lies that destroyed his reputation, which, to be fair, is understandable, since no actual proof was ever being made public. To this day, Buster has never been charged with anything related to Stephen's case. However, Buster is moving on, leaving the rumors and speculations behind. Buster Murdaugh said, "I do." Yes, that Buster Murdaugh. On May 3rd, 2025, Buster married his longtime girlfriend, attorney Brooklyn White, a moment of peace after years of chaos. Because it wasn't just a wedding, it was a turning point of his page. Buster's still surrounded by suspicion, scrutiny, and rumors. But in the world of true crime, nothing is ever simple as a happily ever after. The question hasn't gone away. Why did his name keep coming up so often? Why were those tips never followed up on? Who knows? And why so many years that no one in power seemed to care what really happened to Stephen Smith? Because the questions still linger. To this day, no one has been arrested for Stephen Smith's murder, but the case, just like the Murdaugh's name, is back in the spotlight, and this time, people are finally paying attention. SLED had called it what it always should have been, a homicide. His body has been exhumed, his story has been revived, and still the questions echo louder than ever. Stephen's life was stolen, not just because who he was, but maybe because who he was becoming. Smart, kind, ambitious, a young brave, enough to live his truth in a place where that wasn't really an option and wasn't accepted. While the justice system may have failed him in 2015, Stephen Smith deserves more than justice. He deserves his story to finally be heard. He deserves his life to matter. Stephen Smith is more than just a headline, more than just a file, more than just a theory tangled in a web of Murdaugh legacy. And yet, for years, his death was dismissed, buried, forgotten by the system that should have fought for him. But now, the world is watching, and we are too. We believe Stephen's story deserves to be heard, loud and clear without fear, because this isn't just a case. It's about a young man's life that was stolen and the truth refuses to stay buried. We'll keep following the facts, and we'll keep shining the light on the shadows, no matter whose name is hiding in them, because Stephen Smith's life matters. Here at Crime and Chaos, so does the truth. Who killed Stephen Smith? Why is it covered up? And will justice ever truly come? We may not have all the answers yet. Sandy Smith never imagined her life would come out to this, a mother thrust into the spotlight, not by choice, but by tragedy. From grief-stricken mother to a determined warrior. Sandy is now the voice for Stephen, no longer has, and she's not backing down. We will keep you posted. Thank you so much for tuning in to this case. Until next time, please stay safe, stay cautious, and remember, lock your door to be safe. Take care. Bye for now.